Word.
Okay.
Your eyes red. Like,
I'm mad disoriented, man. I'm just hella disoriented. I don't even know what day it is anymore. I was just fucked up over here.
oh, man, that's hilarious.
I thought somebody was breaking into the crib or something. Well, like, what? Where am I?
What's going on?
What day is it?
Oh, goodness.
So embarrassing. I guess, it was bound to happen sooner or later.
Hey.
I don't know what the fuck I was thinking.
What time you wake up this morning?
7.
Okay.
Which is not normal. I've been up since 7, just mashing.
Yeah.
Like, I woke up at 7, started edited the book. I was having a real productive day too. I think that's what it is.
You didn't get your nap in.
No naps.
No nap.
No, I just been powering through everything, just cooking and hit that wall.
I see.
Yeah, so I fell asleep, y'all. I was supposed to be, Illogic texted me like, yo, I'm on the way. He's only like 15 minutes away.
Yeah.
He works like probably 5 miles from here max.
Yeah.
He texted me like, I'm on the way. I was like, cool. Proceed to fall asleep.
Deep sleep.
Deep sleep, bruh. I was King Tut mummy sleep. Like,
yeah. You did say it was your superpower though.
Yeah, it is falling asleep hella easy. And I remember I was sitting there on the bed. I remember I was like, I was not asleep before you texted me though.
Oh, so you were woke
until you text me.
Right.
I remember texting you back. Cool. Putting the phone on my chest, and I don't remember nothing else. Until you was banging on my door. I'm like, you called a couple times. I ain't hear the phone ring. I ain't hear shit.
That's funny.
I woke up discombobulated than a motherfucker, man.
Funny.
Oh, but we here.
Yeah. Super duty.
The most infamous podcast, we be powering through all kind of random ass shit, man. So, I was still on my job, as we talked about. Everything is connected,
right? Set up,
the lights and the cameras and the audio.
Right.
So yeah, I did what I was supposed to do. I just didn't cross the finish line with it.
Nah,
I just fell asleep right as I walked up to the finish line.
That's great.
How you doing today, though, man?
I'm good, man.
You got a name tag and everything going. Look at my man's over there.
Trying to, coming from the jobby job. Actually, let me take this damn thing off.
Oh, you can rock it. Can't nobody see. Well, now they can see it, but
Sheesh. It's kind of constricting.
Yeah, it is.
But I started a new regimen this week, so I got me a new schedule together.
Is it a new old regimen? Is it a new regimen?
No, new regimen. Like I'm getting up at 5 a.m.
Yeah, it's fucking new.
Yeah, I get up at 5 a.m. I read the Bible, pray, go work out.
Okay, that's a new regimen.
Go to work.
What time you got to be at work?
I got to be at work at 8.
Okay, so you leave what, 7 or something, 7:30?
Well, I leave from the crib to go work out at 6.
Okay,
and then I leave from then. Yep. So
yeah, that's early, man.
Yeah, so I'm 1 weekend trying to.
As you see, I can't stay awake. Shit.
I see.
This is the first time I woke up at 7:30 in months.
Yeah.
At 7 o'clock, I remember I was in bed like, this is awesome. I woke up at 7 like, cool. I'm just gonna wake up and get to work.
Yeah, just get work done. Yeah,
paying for it on the back end, bruh.
Hey, but it's all good though. You was productive.
Yo, my phone just flew across the room though. That was the funniest part. I couldn't even tell. I couldn't track it. I just heard it. Like I popped up out the bed like the phone was like. I couldn't see because my shit was all misty. I'm like, where the fuck my phone go? But then I'm like, oh, you at the door. I had to hustle. I run to the door, go to the wrong door. I go to the side door.
You went to the side.
You never come in the side door.
Ever. Disoriented, dog.
Bruh, I was discombobulated, man. I go to the wrong door.
That's so funny.
Then I let you in. I'm just mad confused. What you doing here?
You ain't called you. You could have called.
Yeah, you could have called. You just show up. The funny shit is I was mad disoriented, but literally only 15 minutes went by. It was like less than 15 minutes time. I just was like I've traveled through space or some shit. I feel like I got cryogenically froze and woke up in a new year.
That's crazy.
It's like some Buck Rogers shit. Like, what am I doing here? This Earth? This ain't how it looked last time I was on this motherfucker.
Oh, shit.
Okay, so yeah, thankfully before I fell asleep, I had the fly topic lined up. We really be in trouble.
Right.
Oh man, so this week, man, we're gonna talk about getting jerked. How to get jerked.
How to get jerked?
How to get jerked.
The things that you do.
Things that you can do to get jerked, to ensure you get jerked. Because everyone has been jerked, or fleeced, or whatever or gaffled.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everyone has been had. So, this episode, we got like 10 ways to get jerked. How to get jerked.
Yeah,
how to make sure a motherfucker pulls the wool over your eyes.
We have experience.
Yeah, and this is not gonna tell you everything you need to do to be a professional at the negotiating table, but this is just like, hey, if you do one of these 10 things every time you deal with any situation, you'll probably get jerked.
Yeah,
you'll probably be regretting it. And so it doesn't always happen, but these 10 things are pretty much will ensure that you get
guaranteed.
Yeah, guaranteed you get scroked. So how to get scroked. And that's it. We're gonna take a break and we'll be right back.
Word.
We got you stuck off the realness, the most infamous, you heard of us. Official podcast murderers, the show comes equipped with viewpoints to share. Grown man ideas for all those who care and want to grow, so go ahead and download. Every single week with a brand new episode. You're not alone in this world, cousin, so we share information and honest discussion and keep repping the culture like we supposed to. They spread gossip, but they never come close to. I can hear it inside their tone. They talk about the industry but never left their home. You get laced up with bullet points and such, plus empowering topics that they never would touch. You can put your whole network against a team, but Super Duty Tough Work's the MVP. Most valuable podcast on MP3. Priceless info, but all of it's free. So take these words home and think them through. Super Duty Tough Work is coming at you. You are now listening to Super Duty Tough Work with your host, Blueprint. Raw and uncut. Adult conversations. No shucking, no jiving, and no bullshit.
Yeah, 2019. 20 grind team.
Grind team.
We are back. That was an extended break because, I wasn't adequately prepared.
Right.
For the podcast.
Right.
So yeah, we back, man. We talking about how to get jerked.
Yeah, how to ensure.
Yes, to ensure you get jerked. There's a lot of unscrupulous people out here.
Many.
Some who are, very open about their unscrupulous ways. Some who are very covert. All types, young, old, black, white, skinny, fat, tall, short. They come in all shapes and sizes. And, they will jerk you. But the reason we titled this How to Get Jerked is because artists rarely view it as their responsibility
to not get jerked.
Yes.
Yeah.
They think getting jerked is a one-way street. Like, they did this to me.
Yeah.
They're picking on me. And, this topic, I was thinking about it just in relation to that. There was something I retweeted from Meek Mill this week where he was talking about record labels should let us have our masters.
Right? Put that in your contract. That should be at the negotiating table.
Yeah, he's
come
like
on, bro.
5 albums deep, 6 albums deep.
Come on now.
Now he wants to talk about it.
This is why I don't understand why cats do that to themselves. And then you selling millions, if not hundreds of thousands of records. Why not go independent so you can own your stuff?
Thank you.
People already know your name.
Yeah.
If it take us $3,000 to put a record out,
right?
Imagine what Meek Mill could do.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
Like,
he could
come
probably
on,
get
bruh.
a lot of bang for his buck for 30,000.
Right,
he
come
could
on,
do
dog.
40,000. He could probably, but it doesn't make sense.
I don't understand these fools.
But yeah, it made me think about the conversation about artists getting jerked and how a lot of times we don't really take responsibility for it.
Mad victims out here.
Right.
Victimhood.
Right. Like, we got to own this shit. So, how to get jerked. We're going to start this off properly with number one. The number one way to get jerked is to be desperate. To be desperate. No one gets taken advantage more than someone who wants so badly to sign something or to be in business with someone that they will almost do anything for it.
Been there,
right? Like you start looking at this thing like, I just want that. When you start looking at it like, I just want this thing, this status. I want to be signed. You know, in our case, we're artists. I just want to work there.
Right.
I just want to work with that person. When you start putting these thoughts in your head, they're desperate thoughts. They're compromising thoughts that you could actually achieve them, but you will actually compromise yourself more by achieving them because you're so busy trying to get signed, to get that job, to work with that person, to do that deal, that you paid no attention to the deal itself and whether the deal itself actually satisfied your long-term objectives.
right? It's true. It's true. Been there.
Yes.
You know, like wanting to get signed before and just wanting to get signed.
I remember this.
Just wanting to get signed.
That's it.
Just that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to put things in order so I could get labels interested enough so I could get signed. And I got signed.
Yes.
Bad move.
Right.
Very bad move. A lot of things could have been very different financially.
Yes.
You know, masters wise.
Oh, yes.
Things of that nature.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember you being like, yo, I just want the record signed. I just need a label for this record.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yo.
Yeah, especially like looking back on it, I did all the legwork.
You did all the heavy lifting for them.
All of it.
And then you took all of that and just gave it to someone. You were literally at the finish line.
I was
ready to cash out pretty big. And then you gave it to someone else because in your mind, you didn't think that you could do the record justice.
Right.
Right. You'd be like, you know what, man, it's just me, man. It's just me. You know, I'm just packaging these orders. It's a lot of work, but man, little did you know that the person that you gave it to was going to do less than you.
Right.
And people don't assume that when they're negotiating. They think that, well, this situation, because everyone else wants it, because it seems to be like a higher status thing, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get in that situation. And this is what sets the table for you to get jerked.
Yes.
Desperation. People, labels, women, everyone can smell desperation from a mile away.
Yeah.
They may not act like it, but the people who are in these positions who have the things, they're going to hit you with some deals that are kind of shaky sometimes.
Yeah. And desperation makes you short-sighted.
Yeah.
You have no long-term vision when you're desperate.
Yeah. Because
you just want to achieve what you want to achieve and there's no plan after that.
Yep.
So yeah.
Right now. That's
Right.
it. That's all you're thinking about. So that's the number one way to get jerked. Be desperate.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2. And this one is, kind of goes along the same lines, but we'll get into this. The number 2 way to get jerked is to assume the opposite party has your best interest in mind.
Never is the case. Never is the case. They just want to make money.
Right.
How can they exploit you? That's what they're thinking.
Yeah. Yeah. Whether it's you, your album, your energy,
whatever,
your platform, that person who you're attempting to do business with or you want to do business with is ultimately thinking about the payoff. How do I extract the value from what he's bringing to the table?
Yeah.
Right. And if you're sitting there assuming that they're going to put that as their number one priority, but also your priority is number one, you're sadly mistaken.
Yeah.
Everything that you want will ultimately become secondary to their primary objective.
And it doesn't make sense, especially when you're dealing with a label that has multiple artists, or if you're dealing with a book company that has multiple authors or whatever, like it's no possible way unless you are their top seller,
right,
that they are going to make you a priority more than you'll make yourself one.
Yeah, I'll give you an example of this one time. I had this, what record was it? It was the Blueprint Who record. I remember I did the Blueprint Who EP, and at the time it was coming out right before Adventures in Counterculture. It came out around 2010. And so this was when people were starting to get heavy into free digital downloads. downloads in exchange for email addresses. And I saw the whole wave and I was like, I'm going to use this for that. And I remember talking to Rhymestairs about it. Like, look, I want to use this for that. But if you guys want to use it, then, you know, to promote the record, because they're like, hey, we'd like to give it away too on our site. But then the discussion started about, okay, well, who gets the email addresses? Right? Because they're going to do a download on their website. Yeah. And I'm going to do one on mine. Do I just send all of my people to their website and they get all the email addresses? Right. And then I have to get them back from them. Hey, send me those email addresses you collected over the lifestyle of this product. Or do they get the email addresses from me? Right? Like it gets into this thing where what's in their best interest is not necessarily what's in my best interest.
Yeah. And vice versa.
Yeah. Right. So like me getting those email addresses is not in the best interest of them allowing me to use their platform to promote it, right? And vice versa. So it's tricky, but that's a good example of how your agenda is not the same as the agenda of the people you're going into business with all the time. And how so ultimately for that project, I was just like, well, forget it. I'll just keep it and do it on my site. And I ended up, you know, getting all the email addresses, and it all worked out. Right. But it was something that really made me think, oh man, like, this could go any number of ways simply because everyone has something different they want out of this. Like they want traffic to their web store. They want the email addresses for doing that. I want, you know, people to download it, and I want email addresses for doing that. And we're kind of caught in the middle of this. How do we do it? So ultimately I ended up keeping them, but every time you negotiate with somebody, one of the biggest mistakes you can make is to assume that their side of the table wants the same thing that you want. Yeah. And as we were talking about with that example, sometimes both parties want the complete opposite.
Oh yeah.
Like it gets worse. Yeah. Then like
it can get bad.
It can get really bad. So like my example was a small little thing. Who keeps the email addresses? We both agree that this is a great project. It should come out. We can promote your record, blah, blah, blah. It's cool. They're like, oh, it's cool. Yeah, you can just promote on your, okay, cool. But okay, what if people want the opposite? What if they want to sell it and I don't? Or what if, right? Like you can have these situations with people where both people interested in the same deal, but want to get completely opposite things out of it. And those are the situations in which if you assume that their side is to look out for yours or their interest is the same as yours, you will get jerked every fucking time.
Yeah, because it never equals out. Because unless like it's different because we made things together. Yes. So our agenda and our goal at the end was the same. When you're just coming into business with someone and it's your own art or it's your own product or whatever it is, you have to already have an agenda set out and not let anyone else dictate how you do what you want to do with whatever you have.
Exactly.
Jeez. And I mean, you got to go. Like nobody's going to have as much passion. Nobody's going to be able to fulfill your goal better than you can.
That's a fact. And, you know, the example that I cited at the beginning of this episode with the Meek Mill album and him wanting to own his masters and taking to Twitter to like shame them and say, oh, if you guys keep our masters and you're going to be known as the slave owners and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, why are you comparing this to slavery?
Nah, come on, bro.
You made more money off of one record than all of our ancestors did in 400 years.
Right, combined.
Yeah, what are you talking about, Meek Mill? Bruh. You're a fucking millionaire. This ain't, you can't compare them to slave owners just because it's called a master, you know what I'm saying? Recording. Like, no, bruh.
And you made the choice to sign that contract.
You made the choice.
They didn't make the choice to get on that boat.
No, they did not.
Very different.
No.
Very, very
No, they
different.
woke up one day like, hey, you're going with me. What the fuck? Oh, shit.
Exactly.
You know, they didn't get a choice. And he feels like his agenda, like their best interest would be to allow the artist to own their master recordings regardless of what their deal says, because then he would have more control over his shit, right? And he'd make more money and all this shit. But why would they pay you all this money up front, put all this money into promotion? That comes with the expectation that they're going to own that thing for a long fucking time, if not forever.
Yeah.
And you knew that.
Come on, bro.
So now you want to shame them into not owning it now, to giving it back to you because our ancestors was enslaved. Nah, you signed up. This is business.
Yeah, this is business. You signed a deal.
You signed a deal knowingly. Like, and you look, you've been made a rich man.
Yes.
Let's not pretend Meek Mill is out here on a fucking street corner rapping in ciphers anymore.
Yes, this is true.
He's not. And so, yeah, like he's assuming that their interests are the same as his.
No, I don't think he's assuming that. I think he's trying to.
He wants them.
He wants them to be.
Yeah, he wants them to be.
Yeah, he knows they're not.
Right.
But the thing is, he knew they weren't when he first got into the game.
Exactly.
This ain't nothing new.
Yep.
You act like people been owning their masters and all of a sudden you come and now the record label want to own your masters.
Come on now.
Like, you understand how the people that own their masters, even back in the day, the James Browns, the Ray Charles, you know what they had to do?
Yeah.
You know what they had to build in order to get to that point?
Exactly.
The things that they had to do. And they were willing to walk away from things in order to maintain that integrity with their catalogs.
Yeah. I mean, look at Nipsey Hussle.
Exactly.
He's a guy who owns his masters.
Yeah.
But you look at all the years, how slow he had to build his thing.
Right.
To get to this point right now, 8, 9 mixtapes, you know what I mean? Building it up slowly to finally partnering with I think it's Atlantic Records to release his debut album, and it did really well. But look at how long he built that up over the last 10 years. And the sacrifices he had to make because he didn't want to give that away. Where someone like, Meek says, I need the deal right now. I want to blow as soon as possible. So give me the advance and just blow this thing up. And now he's turning around. He's got some buyer's remorse.
That desperation.
Yeah.
No long-term goals.
That was more important than I thought it was, because the people who built unlike him, like the guys like Nipsey Hussle, while, they're out there buying goddamn shopping malls and shit now and really investing in their business at a different level because they're making more money, but they don't tell you that up front. No. And so that's number 2.
Yes.
Okay, we'll do number 3.
We're going in.
Yeah, this is a real one. The number 3 way to get jerked is to not read the fine print.
Come on now. How long have we heard this?
Forever.
Like, dog, like any record label from back when they was recording like straight to the record, it's always been make sure you read your contract.
Yeah.
Read your contract.
Industry rule number 4080.
Read your contract, dog. Come on now.
People are shady. It's true. But every year it seems like this becomes a new conversation amongst newer artists who either maybe didn't have bad representation or were, as we said in number 1, so desperate to sign the deal.
It didn't care.
They didn't care. Like there was an interview snippet that was posted maybe a week ago. You might have saw it. It was that guy named Blueface, and he was on the Breakfast Club.
Nah.
And there was a moment in this clip. It was all over Twitter where they were like, yeah, so who are you signed to? What's your official thing signed to? And he was like, I don't really know. Like, I think I'm signed to this guy. And they were like, but isn't that guy signed to this guy and this thing? And he was like, man, I don't even know. They just gave me the paperwork and I just signed it. And they were like, well, did you read? And he was like, nah, I ain't even sweat it. You got to talk to my manager about that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't see that.
This young man is probably signed to a label that's signed to 2 other deals.
Yeah.
Before he even gets a dime, but he doesn't even know.
Wow.
They probably gave him $20,000, $30,000.
Right. He thought he was caked up.
Oh, I'm rich.
Yeah. Spent it all on necklace and a car.
Yeah. He got a bunch of gear, some shoes, a car. He hood rich. And now they putting the screws in him because he doesn't know and he didn't read the fine print. This just happens in every realm from, and me just being a guy who's, dabbled in a real estate thing. I had a situation where this happened to me, I think I told you about my first property I had.
Oh, yeah.
Where I was getting this lady to another real estate investor. We were doing a deal for them to kind of take it over. And the first contract I had, we downloaded it off the net. It was a really old Ohio contract, like 85, 84
wow.
type contract. It was a standard back then. But it was missing some very important things.
Very important details.
Yes, very important. And to say the least, she exploited those missing details to her fullest. Some of those missing details had to deal with breaching the contract.
Yeah.
So if you don't have clearly defined how someone can breach a contract or super defined, like, oh yeah, if you're late, this contract is breached. Okay, what does late mean?
Right.
Does this mean one day?
Yeah, 1 day.
5 days?
A month?
A month?
2 years?
90 days? What is right? Like there was no stipulations in there for the process through which I notify her to inform her she's late. The whole thing.
Right.
And at the time, I didn't know any better because I was tired of having that property.
Yeah, so you're just like, get it away.
Yeah,
desperate.
I was like, I was so desperate because the mortgage was underwater. I didn't want to deal with it, and I just wanted to get back to doing other shit. So I just signed it, and that cost me a lot of money. You know, it probably would have cost me about $1,500, $1,000 to get that contract looked at. It cost me about over $10,000 to fix that in the court system. Wow. Yeah.
That's real.
Did not read the fine print.
Real paper.
Yes. I'm feeling that. Like that's not, I don't have money to where I don't feel $10,000.
Oh, right.
You know, and it was like $1,000 retainers at a time. So they just keep hitting you. Boom, $1,000. Like the two lawyers I had, one of them was like, my main lawyer was $235 an hour. And then her boss was $350 an hour. Wow. Yeah, they were the number one rated real estate firm in Columbus.
Bank.
But yes,
Bank.
You gonna pay for that.
Hell yeah.
You're gonna pay for that.
Hell yeah.
I would look at like the invoices where they would charge me, and it would just be him reviewing some shit that she did for like 5 minutes.
Right.
And it'd be like $150. And I'm like, yo.
Teardrop.
Yeah, I'm crying over here. Come on, man. Why does he have to look at that?
Right.
Why?
Right.
Can't
Don't put
you-
that on his desk.
Come on, you know how much this motherfucker costs? It's another $350 just for him to co-sign this shit that you did. Come on, man. Don't do me like this. I was looking at the invoices just ready to cry.
That's great.
But all because I didn't read the fine print, man.
Yeah, man. It's really important.
Yeah, you know, I had a 1-page contract.
Oh, no.
This is you know something's wrong.
Oh, I know that. And I only had no real estate. And I already know.
1-page contract. I'm
Already
thinking,
know.
you know, what's the worst that can happen? You know, I didn't see anything that looked bad in it,
Right.
but it wasn't what was in it. It was what was not in it.
Right. It should have been at least 4 pages.
Oh, come on, man. The one that we ended up doing in the end is like 20 pages. 20 pages. Like,
From 1 to 20.
come on. The new contract was so bulletproof.
So detailed.
No one can escape that.
Wow.
And as a result of having to go through that process and take it to court and get the lawyers and go through all of that, I got a new contract that's bulletproof, but man, oh man.
You pay for it, though.
I paid for it. Now, imagine that multiplied by what these guys on record deals are dealing
Oh,
with.
God.
The amount of money that the average platinum or gold artist is generating, and how that mistake is killing them tens of thousands at a time, hundreds of millions, maybe tens of millions at a time.
Oh, yeah.
You don't really know these things. When you leave that shit out and you don't have somebody go over that with a fine tooth comb, it's gonna cost you, man.
Yeah.
So that's number 3 way to get jerked.
Yes, sir.
And we'll take a break. Super Duty Tough Work hoodies are finally available from weightless.net. Order yours while supplies last. Thanks for your support.
You're like, this is what you give. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let's sign this.
Right. Right. It was a whole different world.
Right.
It was
You're like, oh, really? Oh, okay. Sure, I'll sign that. Sure.
Yeah, I knew it was real when she got like the thing with my lawyer's names on it, and she started running, started hiding and shit. I was like, oh, this is what that $350 an hour gets you.
Right. Fear.
Yeah, fear. People will literally run for 2 weeks from
Right.
the summonses and shit.
Yeah.
Like she was on the run, like she was
That's
like
funny.
a fugitive and shit.
That's hilarious.
And
She knew what it was.
she knew what it was. We got in court as soon as we got there, because really they tried to settle out of court like the weekend before. They were like, Like they called us like Friday, like, hey, they want to settle, and you know, my lawyer called me and she's like, yeah, they don't want to go to court, they just want to try to settle. And I was like, nope. They was like, well, why don't you want to settle? I said, look, I may eventually settle, but I said, but we're going into court.
Oh, she gonna feel it.
She gonna show up that day, because if you put me through all of this, I gotta make you at least go in court before I settle with you. I was like, if we get there, he said, that's cool. I said, but so I was like, tell them absolutely not. I said, she can't offer me nothing that I can't get through a court of law.
Bars. So many bars.
I said, tell her that.
So many bars.
And we went there and ended up settling. Like, as soon as we got there, her lawyer was like, hey, can I speak to you in the hallway?
So many bars.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, they're gonna want to. I'll be right back out. Lawyer went out all the way. Okay, this is what they're offering. Gonna go out. And I went outside. We were in there watching another court case, waiting on ours, and settled it. You know, and it was just pretty much like, look, it's got to be our contract. It's gonna be our terms. It's gonna be, you gonna pay this. You gonna and it's gonna be blah blah blah. And at the end of this many years, it's gonna be laid out. We put them in a contract that's so bulletproof, man. Like, I sleep like a baby at night. Like, she be so on time. She be so panicking when she late. Hey, Al, I think I'm gonna be late this month. Are you okay? I'm gonna just try to, hey, I had a deposit at 3 p.m. Oh yeah, I know you will, bitch, because
you already know what this is.
You know what this is. You know what you signed.
That's funny.
So yeah, man, we back, man.
Back in the place.
Yeah, this is an informative, episode, man. I hope people appreciate this.
Yeah.
Okay, how to get jerked. We done hit you with 3 joints. We got many more, and so we're gonna hit you with number 4 way to get jerked. And this is one we kind of alluded to in the last one, but the number 4 way to get jerked is no representation.
Yes.
This is some shit that no matter how smart you are, it's very easy to get caught up in thinking you don't need somebody to look at the paperwork for you.
Yeah, because you don't know everything.
You don't know everything.
Entertainment law is a different world.
Yeah.
Completely.
And it's like, you think, as I mentioned before, that, oh, just because I don't see anything bad in it, that means I can't be harmed from it. But the problem is not what's in it, it's what's not in it.
Exactly.
And when you have something that's not in it, then that leaves a legal loophole for somebody to stroke the fuck out of you, man.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, like, I'm a regular guy. I might know real estate, I may know, music, but I don't understand real estate law.
Right. That's a different thing.
Whole different thing.
The law, period. Different world.
Different world. And this is why sometimes you have to sacrifice up front for that big deal. If you want a deal or you want to negotiate with something for this could be the biggest to the smallest things. Always make sure that you have a third party to look at anything significant, especially if you can't afford to lose that money or whatever it is, or that album or that project or whatever, then you need to have someone look at that paperwork, a third party.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't really got nothing to say about that. I mean, it's interesting how people just think that they know.
Yeah.
Like, I've never been in a position where I thought that I knew. It was just certain things that I was, like I said, I was looking at them thinking that they had my best interest at mine as well. As we talked, it's like, okay, y'all get what I'm trying to do. Yeah. Okay. I did have a couple people look at it, but I didn't go to an entertainment lawyer.
Right.
I had a lawyer look at it, but they weren't an entertainment lawyer. So it's very different.
Yes.
You get somebody that specializes in that. And if not, Jerk City.
Jerk chicken.
Jamaican jerk.
Yeah, Jamaican jerk. Yeah, But it's true, man. So that was probably the biggest thing that I kind of took away from that. I mean, this is a lot of lessons that I've learned from that situation and you from yours. But yeah, going into something like that, I would never do anything like that on that level again, right? Unless I knew, someone else who could protect me,
right, was
gonna look at that.
Right.
And when you're in that moment, though, you don't want to do it because you're thinking,
yeah, it's just, it's all right.
Worst case scenario, I'll figure it out.
Right.
They wouldn't do that to me.
If you would have took that to a lawyer, they would have like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, this is bad.
This is horrible.
Do not sign this. I'm glad you came to me, Jawar.
Right.
Oh, you're about to get stroked.
Right. Oh God.
Yeah, because I remember giving a contract to my lawyers, and they were just like, "Ooh."
It's bad when they don't even say words.
Yeah, they were just like, "Ooh, look at this."
Just give you facial
They
expressions.
said they passed across the table just like, "Oh, we haven't seen one of these. When's the last time you saw one of these?"
Wow.
They were like, "I haven't seen one of these. How old is this contract? Ooh, this is 75, 74? Yeah, I think I was just getting out of college when these were still being used.
Wow.
This is like,
Wow.
man, you guys sure picked an old contract.
Wow.
This is not bad, Mr. Shepard. I mean, can we get you out? Yes. It's gonna cost you some time
And some money.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to set up some things to kind of get her to do some things wrong, but we can get it back for you. But yeah, I did not have representation, and that shit came back to get me, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's number 4.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to number 5. This is one that should be common sense to everyone, and not even in relation to just signing like a record deal or a real estate property. Number 5 way to get jerked is that you don't research the people you're doing business with.
Always important.
So much depends on your reputation now. Whether that's good, bad. You look at how businesses are done on the web. Customer service is right there in front of people. They got Twitter accounts to handle what people are saying about businesses. It's more open than ever, from Better Business Bureau, things you can look on online with your city, with your state. You can Google people that you couldn't before. But, we came up in a time where it was a little harder.
Right. Had to make phone calls.
Yeah, you had to know someone who knew that person.
Right. To get the 411.
Yeah, to get to 411. And, sometimes what I've noticed in the music industry, as opposed to other industries, is that sometimes people don't want to go public about getting jerked by somebody because they are embarrassed
Right.
about getting jerked.
Right. But they will tell you personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll take you to the side.
Right.
Yo.
Don't fuck with him. Do not, dog. Let me tell you about what happened to me.
Got me.
Yeah.
Don't do it, dog.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's a trip. But what happens when you don't share that information is that the next person does not get to protect themselves from the same scam or person. And so the cycle continues.
Yeah.
That's the fucked up part about not sharing due to embarrassment. It's like, yeah, you're embarrassed. I get that. But can you deal with the fact that multiple people now are going to now fall for the exact same shit that you did, who you could have helped out?
Yeah.
And that is the importance of not only looking for shit, but sharing when someone does you wrong, being open and honest about it. I mean, we've all had bad deals, from like that thing to, I didn't really research this lady too much. There wasn't nothing I could find out. She's like 65 years old. So it wasn't
Right.
like, it wasn't gonna be that much on her.
Right.
But when it was all said and done, things that I did at the end that I should have done, was that I should have looked her up to see what her financial standing was. Because like when it comes to real estate, and we talked about this in the real estate episode, a lot of people can front like something they're not.
Right.
Everyone is a real estate mogul when you talk to them on the phone. And then when you look them up on the state site, look them on an auditor site, you be seeing some different things.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You got to reconcile that with what they telling you. Like, okay, this person got 5 mortgages and they late all the time. They must not have it like they say. You know what I mean? Like they ain't got it as good as they think they do. Okay. So you can look up and see what people are dealing with, what's on their plate. And I didn't do that. It came to get me, and we had similar issues with waitlist. We did one distribution deal for like the Columbus or Bust record. And that was one we did with like Raptivism Records back then. And that record deal was awful.
Yeah.
They didn't do a single goddamn thing they said they were going to do. And when it was all said and done, years later, you meet people like, yeah, they jerked me too.
Yeah.
But at that time, no one was saying anything
Right.
about, the people we were dealing with. And everyone was saying, oh, yeah, it's cool. But no one was getting anything out of that situation. And, when you fail to do the research on the people that you're dealing with, you're setting yourself up to be screwed.
Yeah.
So, to not get jerked, always do research on those people.
It's so much easier nowadays.
Oh, it really is.
Like you said, you can Google Facebook,
somebody.
See what they talking about on their Twitter account.
Yeah.
It's like all kind of stuff. You can see.
Right.
You can find out information.
Yeah, back then it was way harder 10 years ago.
Super hard.
Like if you look at 2005, 2000, prior to that, I'd say, Music moved to the web real heavy around 2005, 2008, maybe. Prior to that, man, it was hard.
Yeah, it was just word of mouth.
Yeah.
You had to trust that. I mean, and the thing is, since we were kind of in the loop a little more, then if there was a promoter that we weren't supposed to fuck with, somebody would let us know.
Yes, exactly.
You know
we
what I'm
knew
saying?
that.
We knew those kind of things.
Yes.
Like we knew people as far as shows and booking and things like that who not to mess with. But we was all starting our own record labels. So we didn't know who to get a distribution deal and who not to, except Fat Beats. Fat Beats was the only one that was really doing it with anybody, you know, for anybody on a bigger level. So it's certain things that just weren't available to us back then.
It's true. So, you know, to all the younger negotiators out there who, if you're doing business, take advantage of the tools you have now.
Yes.
Take advantage of your social network. Take advantage of like being able to look up people in their city, in their state, to look up their business, to actually reach out to people who have done business with via email, which you couldn't do before, via social media, and say, hey, I'm in negotiations with this person about X, Y, and Z. And, you know, they seem to be great, but I just wanted to take a couple seconds and reach out to some people that they've done business with and see if you would recommend them still to this day after doing business with them.
Yep.
And see what happens. Yeah. Some people might not answer. Some people say, well, you know, they might give you the good and the bad.
Right. Like it was all right, but this was, you know, this didn't happen like I thought it would. But overall, you know,
right.
One of those situations.
Yeah. So like take your time and do diligence on people so you don't get jerked, because it's very easy to get jerked.
Very much.
And so that's number 6. Okay, number 7. This is like the hood mistake. You know what I mean? But we all made this one. Number 7 way to get jerked is to have no paperwork. Like worse than bad paperwork is no paperwork at all.
My handshake is as good as
right.
No, bro.
Now there's certain people, I will say this, there are a certain level of people who you can do a handshake deal with. But very, very few people qualify for that.
Yeah.
Like I can do a handshake deal with Slug.
Right.
First, I've known him 20 years. I could do one with you.
Right.
I've known you 20 years.
Yeah, it's very different.
It's very different.
Yeah.
I can't do a handshake deal with almost anyone else.
Right.
You know, everyone else like, yeah, I got you, friend. Here's the terms. Here's the day. Do. Shouldn't come out. Blah, blah, blah. Here's your money. Cool. You do what you're supposed to do. This happens. Cool. But that's 20 years.
Right.
That's, I know you. I know your family. I know your address.
Right.
I know where your children go to school.
Yeah.
I know everything about you. I know your brother. I know your sister. You know, it's like, it's so different. I met your moms. It's like, I can call your moms if things go badly.
Right.
But you can't assume that that's the reality with everyone. And if that's not the reality, put it on paper.
Or if you don't know.
If you don't know.
It's always better. And even when you do have that relationship with people, it's still better to put it on paper. I would never take offense to you asking me to sign something if we were doing business, just because we do business.
Yeah.
It wouldn't make sense for us not to do things on, you know.
Yeah.
It wouldn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? So I would understand it. I wouldn't get upset. I wouldn't get offended. You know what I mean? Like that's business.
Yeah. And you know what the crazy thing too is that doing the paperwork protects both sides.
Exactly. Everybody's protected.
Everyone's protected, because if you don't do paperwork, then you could be flipping out over something that someone told you and someone maybe emailed you about, but you forgot.
Right.
It could be the smallest little thing. And you could say, oh man, you said you was going to do X, Y, and Z, but you didn't, man. You trying to jerk me. Now y'all got to argue and say, hey man, look, man, I didn't try to jerk you. I'm forwarding you this email right now where we agreed on that. And everything is cool. And you say, oh man, my bad. You right. I did agree to that. Man,
my bad.
We should have did a contract, because I forgot that. Yeah, you did email me, or you just showed me your texts, and this can happen to the best of us. It doesn't make you a bad person because you forget the terms of a deal, but you shouldn't have to remember all the specific terms of a deal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, write it down.
Yeah, write it down. Get some paperwork, and don't do like shade tree business. Like, only if you're dealing with people you've known your whole fucking life.
Yeah.
10, 15, 20 years. And even 10 years you can get jerked. We got jerked by somebody we knew for 10, 15 years.
Yeah, sure did.
So
sure did.
It can happen.
Very much.
You know, but the best thing you can do is have paperwork. You know, and that's number 7. And we'll take a break.
Yeah.
What up, everybody? Blueprint here to let you guys know that all 3 of my books are finally back in stock. That means right here, What a Night This book is back in stock. It's $10. This is a book about the worst shows in my career. That's 10. Word is Blog Volume 1 is back in stock. That's $10. And also, The Making of Adventures in Counterculture. This book is about my Adventures in Counterculture album. If you have the album, you know the album, you should have a book too. That's $10. All three of these books are back in stock for $10 each, or you can get all three of them for just $25 right now on waitlist.net. That's all I got today. Thanks for your support. Peace. All right.
Back in the place.
Those guys.
Yeah.
Super duty tough work. Podcasting as per usual. Visually. In stereo. Wherever you at. Play this for your mama and them. Auntie and them. Yeah, your cousins and them. Play it for your friends. How your mama doing? So this is how your mama doing? She doing all right? So yeah, how to get jerked, man. You know, take responsibility for, you know, the business you do. And we have 3 joints left.
Strong joints.
You know what I'm saying? Oh shit, I skipped one on last. We'll come back to that. I'm seeing now. But number 8.
Oh yeah.
Way to get jerked. Number 8 is no money to take legal action.
Yeah, so it don't matter if you getting jerked and you find out you getting jerked. You can't do nothing about it.
Can't do a goddamn thing.
Because if you ain't had that money, you would have just been like, fuck.
Right.
You would have just been like, bitch, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
that was the moral of the story of that whole thing.
Right.
By the end of that, because what I realized early on in that process was like, she was acting so brolic because she believed I didn't have the money.
Right. To do anything
To
about
do anything. And what I think that her confidence came from was the reality that most people don't. A lot of people, when you start looking at the court of law, most people don't pursue action in certain instances because they don't have the resources to go the length. And we know going through any type of legislation, it's a long ordeal, right? People don't want to go through that, man. They don't want to say, okay, well, I'm gonna fucking be in this thing for 2 years, $20,000, $15,000, $100,000. People are not that committed financially. But what people who do foul shit know is that all they gotta do is jerk somebody, and that motherfucker ain't gonna be able to retaliate. What you gonna do? It's like they try to punk you financially. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, she think I can't take it there.
I'm about to show her. Yep.
So I didn't want to spend the money, but I had to take it there because I knew that if I didn't, I'd be in hell for the next 20, 30 years of that contract, which I could not stand, you know. But understand that if you don't have the money to mount, you know what I'm saying, an offense or a legal response to people jerking you, you're setting yourself up to get jerked from the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Like you got a contract that you can't even afford a lawyer to look over. You're like, you can't even pay a $500 retainer. If that's the case, you should not sign the contract. Right? Because ultimately people are going to do things either willingly or unwillingly, either intentionally or unintentionally to break that contract.
Oh yeah.
And when they do, what are you going to do?
What can you do?
You can't do shit, man.
Because it costs real money to fight.
It costs real money, man. I learned that there's two different systems out here, man. You got a court system for broke people. You got one for people with money. And I learned that during that experience. I was like, oh, when you got money, everything different. The lawyer different.
They pay attention.
Yeah. They start responding to shit different. They notice like clockwork.
Right.
Oh, they scared to go to court now. Oh, they pleading and begging. Oh,
they want to settle.
Yeah, they want to settle. Just a month ago, they was like, I ain't paying you shit.
Like, oh, word.
Okay, we'll see. They got that notice. It said, oh, such and such law firm. They're like, can we please not go to court? Can we please settle? See, but if you don't have the money to take, action or respond to that, what the fuck can you do, man?
Yeah.
And these artists are in the exact same position. They don't want to go to war with the labels.
Right. They can't.
They cannot go to war with them.
They can't, because the thing is, they owe the labels so much fucking money. You know, they can't really afford to do it.
It's bad, man.
Oh, bad.
That's the reality right there. They're compromised to where they can't go to war.
Yeah.
Until they've turned in their 7-8 albums.
Right.
Then they can, hey, can we talk about masters?
And even after that, you probably still in the hole.
Yeah, man.
Unless you Jay or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure he got out of many a contract.
He probably got a lawyer because he got lawyers who got lawyers.
Right.
You know?
Like, Jay probably went in like, masters, please, or portion of them or something.
Yeah. But, you know, they had the advantage, too, where Rockefeller came in independently and they had more leverage.
Because they was already doing it.
Right.
They didn't need them necessarily.
Right. So when you do a deal like that, when you're doing it independently and you partner with a major label, typically they won't own your masters into perpetuity.
Right.
You know, but a lot of artists, when you just come to them as a talented motherfucker who can blow up, they're not going to give you that. They're going to have their hands in everything.
I ain't getting nothing.
You know, and so that is a big one. Number 8, not having money to take legal action.
Yeah.
Number 9 way to get jerked is when you don't have clear breach terms. Like when I talk about breach, we're talking about breaching a contract. Like no matter what kind of contract you have, it should say specifically how that contract is breached by either party. So if I agree to give you a record and you don't give me certain records and certain dates, then you've breached the deal and I don't have to do whatever my thing is, which is give you an advance or pay you or whatever the fuck it may be.
Right.
Release a budget. But if you don't have that spelled out, then you're setting yourself up to be in limbo for a long time and to have this shit up to interpretation, which can happen in anything. This is what I was talking about with my real estate deal with that place. The contract had a lot of stuff in it, but it didn't have how you breach this motherfucker, right? It wasn't as specific as it needed to be so that she could be anywhere from 1 day late to 60 days late. I couldn't hit her for no extra fees. It was all the same because I didn't spell it out.
Wow.
Right? Like, that's the thing. Like, okay, she's breached. Well, how long does she have after she's breached to cure the breach? This is shit that seems simple when you say it. I just didn't know at that point. This goes for any contract. I don't care what you do. You should have the terms, whether you're getting a contractor come in and remodel your basement, you know what I mean? Or you're buying a new car, you know, that deals with your warranty. That has terms that can be breached. You're buying a home. Whatever you're buying, if it's a significant amount of money, there should be terms in that purchase agreement or your contract or your receipt that tell you how that's breached. And if you don't have those specifics, if you buy that off someone on Craigslist,
right,
and you don't have that, you just meet a motherfucker in the parking lot. You know what I mean? You buy it off some dude who popped the trunk in the hood. Then you don't have no warranty on that. You don't have no contract.
That's all take home.
It's like as is, bruh.
Yeah,
you got to deal with it. And that's number 9.
That was number.
Yeah, that was number 9.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. But shit, that actually was technically number 8, but we'll come back to the other one. So, number 10, which will actually be number 9. The length is too long.
Yeah, length of the contract.
Some people sign deals and
10 albums. 20 albums. I have heard of some 10 album deals, never 20, but you know, like 10 album deals.
Yes. Crazy.
Like, crazy. And then by album 5, you in the whole space. Don't let your shit not be selling.
Oh yeah. By 5, they're gonna be treating you like they don't even know.
Like
you.
By 3.
Yeah. Like who are you again?
Shelfing.
When did we sign you?
Right.
Oh, let me look. Oh, I'm sorry. You're a write-off for. I'm sorry. No wonder we treat you like shit.
You got 7 albums left on your deal.
Yeah.
You can't go nowhere.
I'm sorry. We can't give you the rest of your money.
Yeah.
You can't get that. Why? Your deal is too long. It's like the thing that I think we did that was smart back in the days is that we would do 1 album deals.
Yeah, one-offs.
1 album deals. And you do a 1 album deal with somebody that you're comfortable with, though. Because if you're comfortable with them, then you're going to want to do more business with them. And if they enjoy doing business with you and it's profitable, they'll want to do more business with you. This is a way that you kind of incentivize both parties to do their job. The longer the term is, then each party is less incentivized to do what they should be doing.
Exactly.
It's like you meet a girl, you go on one date, and then you agree that you're gonna be seeing her for the next 10 years off of one date. Yo, nah, you just need to commit to the next date, sir.
Right. I'll see you next week.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll do this again next Saturday.
Right.
We'll do a movie this time. That's it.
Yeah.
But if you commit to the next 10 years, that person is likely going to get lazy. They're going to take things for granted, or they might not like the deal after, a couple weeks. Like,
Yeah, they find a way out of the deal.
yeah, I don't like this for myself.
Right.
I want out of this shit.
Hell yeah.
But the term of a deal is just as important, is one of the most important terms of any deal. And a lot of times you can get jerked simply by not looking at the terms. I mean, they have terms with deals now that are about like your options, right? So the thing that you have in sports, so you look at the sports analogy, you have what they call player options, right?
Yeah.
I got a 2-year deal with a 1-year player option, right? The player option means that it's up to the player.
Right. If they want to finish the contract or not.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So like Kyrie Irving's on his last player option, you know what I'm saying? Of his deal, 1 year. And then at the end of that deal, he can decide if he wants to go back to Boston or not. What you have in the record industry is the opposite.
Right.
You don't have artist options.
Oh no.
Every deal in the record industry is label options.
Yeah, it's all catered to the label.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if they give you so if they give you an option, it's like you could be ready to go after 7 albums. They're like, no, we're gonna exercise our option. Let's just get another one.
Yeah, because they got the option of first rights of refusal or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the label is so different than like most other, from sports to other areas where like, oh well, they get the creator gets to exercise, right? Whether I stay here for another year or whether I for one more album. But in the record industry, it's tricky because the labels get to decide in many instances, and that can make someone who doesn't understand that language sign up for something very foul.
Very foul.
That can jerk them, So that's number, we'll call that 9.
Right.
And then the order's going to be off on this, so y'all forgive us at home because we skipped number 5, I think. Number 6. Okay, so number 6, which is number 10, technically, and this is the last one, way to get jerked, is that you don't research what you're buying.
Yeah.
This is the number one way to have buyer's remorse.
This is hard. This is with anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Like, yeah, I'm going to buy this, but I'm not going to really research it.
Yeah.
It sounds good. It looks good. I've heard good things about it, but I'm going to just stop right there.
Yeah. I've been looking to upgrade my computer for like a year.
Yeah.
I've been researching that whole time about what I'm going to get, what kind of specs I want, what I need to run certain programs, like all of that shit.
Yeah.
And I haven't pulled the trigger yet because I'm still working on my research. Like I got something in the bag, but I'm still working on my research to make sure I don't jerk myself and get the wrong shit.
Yeah, because once you do, you're stuck.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this ain't doing. But see, the thing with that, you won't even know till you put everything on
Exactly. I have to, all the work I have to do to get it to the point where I really understand if it's doing what I need it to do.
Yeah.
If I didn't do the research.
Yeah, that's not cool. Like I think about that in terms of like, for those, I'm about to get the basement redone, that room. So we're going to start recording down there. And, the reason I can't get jerked on that is because like my experience at houses, right? I got a book in my living room. It's like it's from Bigger Pockets. This podcast is called House Remodeling Costs or whatever. It's just like a 300-page book with like how much every job should cost. And like, this is how much labor should run in like a major city to a smaller city. This is how many hours that job should take. This is how much the material should take on average. So you have this book that gives you a baseline of what things could cost. Obviously it could vary.
Of course.
Depending on who you're hiring, right?
The materials, all that shit.
Yeah. And obviously like if you want like a guarantee on the work, sometimes that can cost you more. And maybe you add things to it that cost you more. But having something like that allows me to do the research on what I am buying ahead of time and not get jerked. I like to believe that same mechanism should be available to people in any industry. That as long as you're willing to do your diligence in terms of your cost, what this average job costs, to do in labor, parts, whatever, however it is, then you should be able to understand what type of deal you should be able to get, right? Like if you know that, when we were coming up, the average record deal was a 50-50 record deal from the first record you're getting paid. Yeah. Then why would you do a 360 in 2005?
Exactly.
Right. Whereas now younger artists are being pressured into doing 360 deals. Those are like the standard deals now.
That's horrible.
Yeah, the labels are owning everything. They got their hands in everything, even things that they don't promote and market. Crazy, right? Yeah. But just how much a difference 10 years can make in between the cost of something then and the cost of something now.
Straight up.
And that can come back to get you later. So, that's number 10.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so how to get jerked, man. If you at home, I hope that you you learn something from this, and that we've made our mistakes, and we're gonna pass these down to you. So I'm gonna read them back real quick. How to get jerked. Number 1, be desperate. Number 2, assume the other party has your interest in mind. Number 3, make the terms clear, or don't read the fine print. Number 4, no representation. Number 5, don't research the people you're dealing with. Number 6, don't research what you're buying. Number 7, no paperwork. Number 8, no money for legal action. Number 9, no clear breach of terms. Number 10, the length is too long. And those are the 10 ways that you can ensure that you get jerked, guys.
Yes, sir.
We hope that you will internalize these and think, wait a minute, I'm getting myself jerked right now.
Is he jerking me?
Yeah, I think I just set myself up. And I hope that you don't do it, because it's so easy to do and it's so hard to get out of once you do it. And that's it for this week. We'll see you guys next week.
All right, peace.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to Super Duty Tough Work. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. Follow the podcast on SoundCloud. Peace.
Shoot, I got styles already that's more complex that nobody know about. I mean, super duty tough work.